What is going on, fellow vets? Brian Reese, the VA Claims Insider, coming at you live from Austin, Texas. And what I'm sharing today is the 10% rating for tinnitus that a lot of veterans have. Okay, over 2 million veterans right now are service connected for tinnitus, which is the ringing in your ear. You've heard me refer to it in the past as ringing in the ear syndrome. Okay. The 10% rating for tinnitus recurrent, as we know it today, is likely going away. Okay. Now, there's no actual timeline yet of when this might happen, but this proposed change to how the VA reviews, evaluates, and rates tinnitus, okay, I think it's going to change eventually. Okay, now why does this matter for veterans? Okay, well, we call tinnitus a gateway claim. Okay, now what that generally means is tinnitus is a pretty easy disability condition to file for. It's pretty easy to get service connected. Why is that? Well, because tinnitus symptoms are usually very subjective. Okay, and they're subjective to you. Okay. In fact, the most common type of tinnitus that veterans have is called subjective tinnitus, which is only ringing in your ears that you can hear. Okay. Nobody else can hear it, just you. Well, part of the hallmark right now of the current service connected VA disability rating for tinnitus is that there may not be a clear underlying cause. Okay. It's called medical etiology, which means what is the origin? Okay. There may not be a clear origin other than your military service, exposure to flight lines, weapons training, gun ranges, improper hearing protection, whatever the situation. Okay. We were exposed to a lot of loud noises in the military, but the 10% rating for tinnitus currently is pretty easy to prove. Okay. Now, why is it called the gateway claim? Because there's a lot of secondary disabilities that are high value that can be service connected secondary to your 10% tinnitus. In fact, I've seen veterans get a 90 to 100% rating just based on secondary conditions to tinnitus. Okay. But that may all be changing because it might end up getting harder to prove and service connect tinnitus under these proposed changes that are currently published. You can find them in the Federal Register. But I'm going to read this to you of the possible tinnitus changes. Okay. The biggest change, okay, is that tinnitus, the ringing in your ear, will only be compensated as part of an underlying service-connected condition. Okay. That means it is no longer going to be rated separately on its own. The diagnostic code for tinnitus recurrent will go away. Okay. That'll be removed. We won't see that anymore. Instead, what they're proposing to do is roll up tinnitus as a part of underlying hearing loss. Okay, now I think this is a terrible idea because hearing loss is really hard to prove, okay, or at least prove that it's service connected. And even if you can prove service connected hearing loss, the rating criteria is so severe to get certain percentages, you dang near need to be deaf to get a compensable rating for hearing loss. Now, I'm going to read this to you. This is in the Federal Register. This is what it says verbatim. Okay. If hearing loss is evaluated at 0% and tinnitus is diagnosed as associated with the underlying hearing loss, that's a 10% rating. Okay. So they're combining it. They're basically saying no more tinnitus on its own, only if it's a part of underlying hearing loss. Okay. It has to be associated with that condition. I'm going to read you the other note. Okay. The 10% evaluation is only applicable to tinnitus diagnosed as associated with non-compensable service-connected hearing loss. That means hearing loss at 0%. Okay. Tinnitus diagnosed as associated with another condition, such as Meniere's, residuals of TBI, there's a few others in here, must be evaluated as part of that disability without a separate evaluation for tinnitus under this new diagnostic code. What the heck does this mean? Okay. Well, here's what I think it means. If you have tinnitus ringing in the ear, maybe it's subjective to you, only you can hear it. You've got hissing, buzzing, ringing in your ears all the time. Get your disability claim in now. Okay. I want you to get it service connected so you're grandfathered in under the old system. Okay. Now, that's a key point here is any veteran that already has a service connected disability rating for tinnitus at 10%, you're grandfathered in regardless of these changes. Okay, this would only be applied to future claimants and only if this is actually signed into law. Okay, again, this is still just a proposal. It has not been signed into law. Okay, now, if you need help, if you're stuck, if you're frustrated, if you're underrated, okay, we are the experts that can help you get unstuck. Okay. If you're ready to increase your VA rating, if you're sick and tired of being alone, maybe you've been fighting for years or you're endlessly searching for information and you want to work with a group of experts who care about you, who want to guide you. Okay. There's a banner across the screen. Okay. You can join us at vaclaimsinsider.com. All right, fellow vets, Brian Reese here, Air Force service disabled vet out from Austin, Texas. I love y'all. God bless. We'll talk to you really soon.